kind of gross already. Probably should have made this video before I made them all nasty. Welcome back. Today we've got another pair of shoes in the house. We've got the Altra Superior 5. I've been wearing the Altra Superior 5s for, I don't know, about 2 weeks now. And I've been taking them out a lot because this is a really fast and light shoe and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Did that just spoil this whole video? And over the years, I've kind of gravitated towards the Altra Lone Peak line of shoes because they've got a little bit more cushion, they're a little bit more built up and rugged, but lately I've been finding them to be a little bit too much for certain trail conditions. So I went out and I bought the Altra Superior 5s for the purpose of this video. No, they were not given to me. They didn't send me anything for free. So this is a completely unbiased video about the Altra Superior 5.0. Let's talk about who this shoe is marketed towards. First of all, this is a trail running shoe, obviously. And Altra markets it as their fast, nimble, lightweight shoe that's very responsive. And I think for the most part, they kind of hit the nail on the head there with the description. The Altra Superior 5s come in at just 8.9 ounces on my scale for this size 10.5 men's. This is actually really lightweight in comparison to something like the Altra Lone Peak, which is closer to like 11 ounces or 11.5 ounces, I think. And I definitely feel that weight difference on my feet. These are really light. You barely notice you're wearing them. Really enjoy that aspect of the shoe. The upper material on the Superior 5 is both an engineered mesh right over the forefoot and also a more beefed up material in the back that provides some structure to the back of the shoe. And around the front of the shoe is a toe rand that feels really solid and protects you from any like stubs of toes or rocks flying by, things like that. It's a real beefed up area in the front of the shoe. One thing I did find kind of strange about the Altra Superior 5s is the tongue design. So on one side of the tongue, it's actually integrated into the upper of the shoe. You can see there, it's not separate. The tongue is one piece with the upper. And then on the other side, it kind of overlaps underneath. And to tighten it down, you basically just cinch it down like that, and it all kind of just folds together. At first glance, I was a little bit concerned about this, but it's actually really comfortable, and I kind of like how this works because there's no seam on one side of the shoe where the tongue connects to the shoe. So when you tighten down the laces, it feels more like a sock than a shoe, and I find that to be a lot more comfortable than other shoes. There is minimal padding in the tongue and the sides here, but in the back there's quite a bit of padding by the Achilles, which I don't mind, but it can feel a little bit stifling on a hot day. Just like all of the other Altra trail shoes, you do have the Altra Gator Trap on the back here. This is to attach their gator to if you have an Altra Gator. You can also find other gators that would work with this just fine. The Altra Superior 5s come in with just a 21mm stack height. That means there's only 21mm of foam between your foot and the ground. That's both good and bad for me. First of all, they are very responsive. You really feel connected with the trail with that really low stack height, and I really like that. Unfortunately, that also means that rocks, if they're really jagged, can actually penetrate up and hit your foot when you're running. And to mitigate that from happening, Altra actually includes a stone guard in the box that's form fit for the shoe. I personally have just left them in because I find them to be quite a bit more helpful than the midsole at protecting my feet from jagged rocks. So you just slip it in there and then you put your insole right on top of it. And of course, because this is Altra, this is a zero drop shoe. That means that the heel is on the same plane as the forefoot. There's no elevated heel in this shoe, which some people like, some people don't like. Personally, for me, it works for me really well, and that's why I gravitate towards their shoes. When it comes to the ride or comfort when you're running of the Altra Superior 5.0s, I find that just because it has such a thin midsole at 21mm, it is a little bit abrupt when you hit the ground. It doesn't really absorb shock all that much. But again, that's really what this shoe is designed for. It's designed to be nimble, fast, responsive. You're supposed to feel connected to the ground. And overall, I think they achieve that with the Altra Superior 5. The midsole material used on the Superior 5s is called Quantic. Altra has another midsole called Ego, which I really like. And that's a little bit more squishy and soft and kind of springy. The Quantic midsole in the Superior 5 is a little bit more stiff, and what that translates into is more energy being transferred into the ground when you're pushing off. That's kind of the goal with the Superior 5. Okay, let's talk about the fit of the Altra Superior 5. For me, I typically wear a men's size 10.5, even in Altra branded shoes. For some reason, a 10.5 in the Superior 5 felt a little bit tight. These feel about a half size smaller than my other shoes, so just keep that in mind when you're shopping. I think your best bet is to try these on before you buy them, but if you can't, I would size up by a half a size just in case. The other aspect of fit is shoe width. For me, I've got kind of clown feet. I don't really have a wide foot per se, but my midfoot right in the middle of the shoe here is really wide compared to my forefoot and my heel, and that's why a lot of shoe brands just don't work for me. That's why I end up with Altra, because they really design their shoes to be wide from the heel all the way up to the front of the foot. As you can see, the forefoot looks kind of like a clown shoe, and that's for intentional purposes. They want to give you your toes the ability to splay out when they hit the ground and when the shoe flexes, and give you plenty of room in the front, while dialing the heel and midfoot in to get you a more secure fit, so you still have control of the shoe. And I think overall they achieve that, especially with my foot. Again, this is my foot, my experience so far. Your experience may vary, and if you have really narrow feet or you like a really snug foot in the forefoot, Altra shoes probably won't be for you. When it comes to traction on the Altra Superior 5s, I've taken them out in a variety of conditions, and I gotta say, these have really excellent traction in wet conditions, in muddy conditions, on rocks, on dry roots, just about anything I've thrown at the Altra Superior 5s, they have excelled. And I think it's because of the really aggressive lug pattern on the outside of the shoe, and the fact that there is a mixture of materials. You've got kind of a soft, sticky rubber on the perimeter and on the toe area, and then on the inside you've got more of a stiff, kind of hard rubber that's designed to kind of grip on, you know, wet stuff or rocks or whatever. So the Max Track outsole definitely gets a thumbs up for me in terms of overall traction. No complaints so far. In terms of the looks of the shoe, actually what they look like, I kind of dig them. I like the colorways. These are I think they call them like gray and lime green. Could be wrong, but I like the look of this. I'm a sucker for lime green, as you can tell by my watch band here. But they also had this like really awesome orange color. Unfortunately, I could not find it in stock anywhere, so I had to get these. But I would have definitely got that orange color if it were available. In terms of durability, I've only got like 25 miles on these shoes so far, and so far they're holding up pretty good. There is some like jabs and stuff in the midsole. The outsole still looks pretty good, even though it's really gross and dirty. But generally speaking, the durability looks okay so far. If that changes, I will be sure to report back. Maybe I'll do like a 100 or 200 mile follow-up once I get more miles on these shoes. And finally, let's talk about value. The Altra Superior 5s come in at 120 bucks, which I think is a reasonable price to ask for this shoe. Now, who is this shoe for and who is it not for? For me, the purpose I bought it was for fast days. If I'm going out on my local trails, that's like an 8-mile loop, and I want to hit it hard and try to get my PR, the Altra Superior 5s are probably what I'm going to reach for. Even some race scenarios where maybe it's a half marathon trail race or something like that, I think the Superior 5s would be a good choice for that. When it gets into longer distances, like marathon distance or ultra marathons, I don't think I'll be reaching for the Superior 5s. I think that's more designed for the Altra Lone Peak 5 or even the Olympus. Those shoes just have more cushion in them. They've got more comfort for those long miles where you're gonna beat the crap out of your feet. You really don't want to have rocks and stuff poking through your little thin midsole. I don't think that the Superior 5s would make a good choice in ultramarathon situations. But again, I'm sure there are people out there wearing them in ultras, but for me, it would be a pass. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. That is just a super quick look at what I think about the Altra Superior 5.0 so far. Now that I've had them for a couple of weeks, I've got some miles on them. My initial impressions are pretty good, and we'll see how they hold up over time. Again, I'll make a follow-up video several hundred miles later to see how they do in my use case. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe down below so you don't miss more videos from me in the future. Consider becoming a member of the Patreon so you can see some of the behind the scenes stuff that I do here. And of course, I will have links to these shoes in the description of this video that do help support my channel, but they cost nothing extra to you. With that, I think I'm done. I think I talked too much today. Yeah, I'm done. I'll see you next time.